DaVinci Resolve is a video editing software that's a direct competitor to Adobe Premiere Pro. The difference? Premiere costs $600 a year, while Resolve is free. And if you want to cancel your Adobe subscription, you're going to be slapped with a big cancellation fee. This leaves a lot of people with two options: sail out into the dangerous seas, or look for alternatives. That's DaVinci Resolve. Okay, I've already installed DaVinci Resolve. It was pretty easy, just clicking next a bunch of times. And why is the icon slightly smaller than all the other ones? Nevertheless, let's open it for the first time. What's new in DaVinci Resolve 19? IntelliTrack AI tracking. What the hell? Advanced volumetric. Okay, great. You're almost there. Set up your project. What type of project would you like to start with? 1080p? 4K? I'll choose my resolution later. Where would you like to store your media? Let's create a new folder on the desktop, DaVinci Media. Select your keyboard layout. Ooh, this is really nice. I can import my keyboard layout from Premiere Pro, which is completely different from the starting one. You're all set. Nice and welcoming experience. Let's also spin up Premiere Pro so that I can compare the two. I'll create a new project and I'll also put it on the desktop. Shush project. Oh, the Premiere Pro experience, ladies and mental gen. So this is a software that I'm extremely familiar with and that I'm extremely fast in. And I'll be comparing it with DaVinci Resolve that hasn't yet started. I hope it's not actually this slow. Let's quickly quit that and try to start it once again. Is it faster this time? Doesn't even start this time. One more time. So far they're pretty similar. Let's go into the task manager, processes, and look for DaVinci so that I can right click and end task and hopefully have a fresh start. Now, while it's starting up, I want to talk about VPNs. VPNs can be really useful. I recommend private internet access. They're sponsoring this video. A VPN is an app that encrypts your traffic and hides your IP address from things like hackers, internet service providers, and even your government, depending on where you live. Without a VPN, your internet service provider can see and record the domain names of websites that you visit, which allows them to build up a profile of you. But if you use private internet access, you stop that from happening. Using the internet without it is like going to a see-through public toilet. Every passerby can see you struggling in there. Another use case is that private internet access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. For example, streaming services such as Netflix have different library options based on where you're located, and you can't access some shows if you're not in the right region. So private internet access allows you to overcome these restrictions by giving you the option to trick websites into thinking that you're from either of one of 91 available countries and all 50 US states, which allows you to gain access to websites and services that are only available in those locations. And by using my link in the description, you can grab an 83% discount on private internet access. That's just $2.03 a month. And you'll also get 4 extra months completely for free. Thanks to private internet access for sponsoring this segment of the video. Back to DaVinci Resolve. Oh, that's promising. Okay. Boom, there we go. Untitled project. New project. Shush, but DaVinci. Oh, where did it save this project? Is it not saved? Control S seems to be saved. Control Shift S. Save current project as Shush, but DaVinci copy. Okay, let's try to actually find where it is. Is it inside of my DaVinci Resolve installation folder? Where does DaVinci Resolve save projects? Typically found in C, users, app data, roaming, Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve. Really? Why does it save it there? That's a weird place. Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve, preferences, support, Resolve, disk database, Resolve projects. Why is it here? Oh, I just forgot where it was. Resolve project library, Resolve projects, users, yes, Shush, but DaVinci. There's no way this is the actual project file. You can set where your DaVinci library is. It's in settings. Right click on the project you want and click export project archive. Okay, shift 1. So right click, export project, save. And now if I go onto my desktop, this is the actual project. So when I make a video and want to store all my project files inside of a hard drive, I would have to first export the project. And then if I want to open it from the hard drive, I would have to import it into DaVinci Resolve. Definitely strange. Premiere Pro has just a project file that I can just move anywhere and the project moves. I don't have to export anything. Nevertheless, let's actually explore what's here. Now, I'm aware that there are multiple pages down here where you do different things, like import your footage, then cut up your footage. What's this one? Edit your footage. I'm pretty sure edit is the main one, but what do you do inside of cut? This is fusion, which is like After Effects. This is color grading, which I've heard is very powerful, but I don't typically color grade because most of my videos are just screen recordings. Then there's Fairlight, which I'm assuming has to do with audio, and then there's a rocket ship, clip, which is for the export settings. But let's begin with the media tab. This is where you can import your footage, I assume. So I'm going to import this here. Oh, a few more folders spawned in. Oh, these are folders on my desktop. Why are they here? Anyway, since exploring all of the features in each of these tabs will probably take more than 10 hours, I thought, why don't I make a short video inside of DaVinci Resolve instead of just exploring all the settings so that I can put what I learned to use and figure things along the way. So I recorded a 10-minute clip of how to install DaVinci Resolve inside of Arch Linux, and so my goal is to edit this 10-minute clip and turn it into a video that's watchable. Now, since I was doing this at 3:32 a.m., I just did the video portion, but I didn't do the voiceover, so I'm going to do that now, which will also make the video a little more challenging to edit since the audio will be completely separate from the video. This is Audacity, by the way, a free software where you can record and edit audio. Actually, can I make a voiceover inside of DaVinci Resolve? Let's go into the edit page, and how do I make a new sequence? Do I right-click? Add into media pool. Oh yes, add into media pool. Oh, so this is my file system, and this is what's actually imported into DaVinci Resolve. So if I go into edit now, the clip should be here. Okay, do I just drag it in? Yes. Alt and scroll wheel zooms in and out. Beautiful. So can I add multiple audio tracks? Yes, I can. And how do I record a voiceover? How to record voiceover, DaVinci Resolve. Okay, it seems like I can do it from the audio tab. Let's do it on track number 2. And here under A2, it says no input. I finally remembered to use the mouse highlighting feature. Anyway, let's select our microphone. This one or this one? Line 1, line 2. Oh, this is stereo sound. I should probably choose mono sound. Mono? So is the fourth one mono? Oh, change track type to mono. So now the audio will not be different on the left earbud and the right earbud if you're using headphones. Let's do input, and then one of these should be okay. Patch, no idea what this is. And how do I record? Okay, the tutorial said I need to press R to prepare for recording. Ooh, something's happening. And to record, all I need to do is press this. There we go, unselect record. And so now if I go back into the edit page, theoretically, this should be on track number 2. Yes, it is. That's cool. Now, where the hell is this file inside of my file system? Open file location. It's inside of my downloads folder, DaVinci Media, Capture. Oh, that's where I saved my DaVinci Media folder. I thought it was on the desktop. What if I moved it now? What if I close DaVinci and move it now? Just some experimentation. Does it now find all of the files? Okay, double click to open this project. And it does not. Relink selected clips. Yes, please. Let's go into the desktop, capture, timeline, cache clip, audio, Fairlight profiles. These folders are so confusing. Select folder. Oh, it just found it inside of that folder. What if I go into settings? Does command comma open settings? Ooh, it does. Oh, and it opens straight into media storage, which is inside of downloads. Can I change this to my desktop folder? What if I add and then remove the downloads folder? Changes will take effect the next time you restart. Okay, so let's take this time to record the voiceover. How was that 7 minutes? This tutorial will probably be under a minute long. Okay, let's select everything, go to File, Export Audio, boink, beautiful, so we have the video and the voiceover. Let's go back to DaVinci and try to turn this into an actual video. So I'll delete my previous voiceover that I made inside of DaVinci Resolve, remove selected clip, Shift Backspace, yoink. Let's also rename our timeline to be something more fancy. And can I import the voiceover straight in here? Yes, beautiful. Let's drag it on the timeline, and there it is. I'm actually going to switch places. Can I select only one? Yes, I can hold Alt to select only one clip, even if they're linked. By default, it selects both of them, but if I hold Alt, I can select only one of them, which is nice. I'm going to lock this one and this one so that I can only work on editing the audio. I'm also going to disable the video track so I don't see anything. Okay, here we go. Can I actually make the timeline span across the entire screen? So can I not make it smaller? Oh, there it is. It was this button here. I'm assuming all the tools are over here, and I rarely use them because I use keyboard shortcuts. And I'm going to need to learn a few in order to cut this audio. Ooh, the scrubbing on the timeline is a little laggy, especially when I move my mouse quite fast. In Premiere Pro, it's pretty much instant. Interesting. I definitely don't like this slight lag every time I move my playhead. If this is actually the performance, I'm not going to be super happy, but I've heard that DaVinci Resolve is actually super fast. Anyway, so in Premiere, Control K adds a cut to the clip. That didn't work. I can of course do it with this tool, but this is extremely extremely slow. If you use any of these tools, just learn the keyboard shortcut. Having to switch between them with your mouse takes ages and it's just so inefficient. So let's go into settings and look for keyboard shortcuts. Editing, number of video tracks. Let's do at least 5. And number of audio tracks. Let's also do at least 5. Audio track type. Let's do mono. So these are when I create a new timeline. So the keyboard shortcuts don't seem to be under settings. And I open them with Control-Alt-K. Oh, just like in Premiere Pro. Cut is Control-X. Wait, is it actually? No, that's a different cut. Is it split? Split clip. Control-/. By default, it's Control-/. Let's do S to split a clip. S is already assigned to trim, toggle, slip, slide mode. Doesn't matter. Enter preset name. My preset. Super amazing. So now in theory, if I click S, nothing happens. Split clip, keyboard shortcut, DaVinci Resolve. Oh, it's Control-B to split a clip. Control-B. Does it tell me what it is? Application razor. Oh, I can click on razor and then can I drag it onto the letter S just like in Premiere Pro? No, I have to remove it and then S to split a clip. And now when I click S, nothing happens. Toggle slip slide mode. Let's remove that. Still doesn't work. Split clip. Let's remove that. Oh, now it works. By the way, what is this? Why are there 2 windows here? Can I remove this one somehow? Show all video frames. Gang viewers. Okay. Oh, it's this button over here. I went through every single one and this one was the last one I clicked. Okay, so now I have just one program monitor, the preview, just like in Premiere Pro. Very nice. Let's see if the other keyboard shortcuts that I need are working. So S to split a clip. Let's try Q to remove this part of the audio and move everything to the right into its place. Does it work? No. Maybe I have to select it? No. Interesting. So what does Q do? Source timeline viewer. So how are these Premiere Pro presets? Ripple, trim to previous, edit, DaVinci Resolve. Q and W. Well, clearly Q and W don't do that. Okay, it's called start to playhead. So let's do Q for this one and then end to playhead. Let's do W. So now if I come here and click Q, it should cut out this part and move everything that's to the right into its place. Do I have to select? Okay, does W work? Doesn't work. Good to know. Oh, I need to remove all the other keyboard shortcuts. Now it works. And the W key does the opposite. So if I come here, it will cut out this part over here and move everything to the right into its place. Didn't move everything to the right into its place. In Premiere Pro, if I were to do W here, it would move everything there into its place. Boom. In the tutorial, the W key actually works. So what the hell? How come it's not working for me? I made it resize instead of ripple. So let's clear both of those. And under ripple and to playhead, W, and it works. Okay, so now I can split with S, do Q to cut out this part, or do W to cut out this part. Beautiful. By the way, my whole system for setting up keyboard shortcuts is I want to access them with my left hand. And my left hand naturally sits here. And if my keyboard shortcuts are all over the keyboard, I have to release my mouse to move my hand to the keyboard to hit that shortcut, which wastes a lot of time. So for example, now to delete something, I would have to click on a clip and then move either of my hands to the delete key to delete something, which takes time. And that's why my delete key, delete selected, is the F key. Now if I split here and split here, I can select this part and click F to instantly delete without moving my mouse hand to the keyboard. Let's also do ripple trim to X, ripple, trim, ripple cut, Control-Shift-X. We have one under edit and the other one under edit timeline. Makes a lot of sense. And then there's actual ripple delete. Wait, how do I scroll to the right? So do I have to delete this in order to replace it? Okay. And now if I do X on this middle clip, it should delete this clip and move whatever's on the right into its place. So X, of course, never works on the first try. Ripple, delete, X. Okay, try number 2. It works. So I've set up all the keyboard shortcuts for fast trimming. I'm assuming this fades out the ends of the audio track. Okay, now can I make these waveforms a little larger by pressing G? That's a negative. G added this blue thing. How do I increase the gain for this audio clip? Normalize audio levels. Okay, normalize and boom. Wait, that's the size of the audio meters? Surely not. Can I not see bigger audio meters? Or is it only in this audio tab? Maybe it is only in the audio tab. And the waveform looks a lot nicer as well. Okay, what what if I go into the settings here? Oh, these are the timeline settings. So my timeline didn't inherit attributes from this clip, which is interesting. Okay, let's do 30 FPS, playback frame rate, 30 frames per second, and timeline frame rate, 24 frames per second. So why can't I change this? And where is 1440p resolution? Custom, 2560, 1440, DaVinci Resolve, change timeline frame rate. Oh, once you create a timeline, you can't change its FPS. Good thing I realized this now before I start doing anything. Remove timeline, and then new timeline, timeline resolution, 1440p, so it remembers, and FPS, I went 30. Enable interlace processing. No idea what that is. So what's monitor? Is this panel the monitor? Maybe. Okay, and let's drag the voiceover audio, and let's normalize it once again. Beautiful. Does this little Bezier curve mean that there are effects applied on this clip? Oh, something happened. Wait, before normalization, this wasn't here, and now it's here. Oh, I can increase and decrease volume, and it's actually happening real time. If I did this in Premiere, nothing actually happens to the waveform. This is really nice. I can see where the audio is peaking. That's really good. What are these? Also, one important setting in Premiere is under timeline and selection follows playhead. What it does is wherever I move my playhead, it selects the clip that's under it, which is very useful because you don't have to keep clicking on the clip that's under the playhead. Highly recommend. Now I'm noticing that I have to hold Control in order to scroll horizontally. Ideally, I would want to just scroll and for it to scroll horizontally. So let's fix that as well. Scroll horizontal without Shift. 2D timeline scrolling. Okay, now when I scroll on my mouse, it just scrolls. I don't have to hold Control. Oh, and even if I hold Control, it scrolls. What I'm also noticing is that it doesn't scroll all that much. And Premiere has the same thing. But I also don't want to change this setting inside of Windows because it will scroll 10 kilometers with each tick of the scroll wheel. So my solution to that is an auto hotkey script. This is getting advanced very quickly. But I have this script which boosts scrolling speed in Premiere Pro. So if the Premiere Pro application is active, 1 wheel down will send 7 wheel down. So every tick of my scroll wheel becomes the same as 7 ticks. I'm going to copy this, paste it down here, and instead of Adobe Premiere Pro, I'm going to say DaVinci Resolve. And here as well, let's save it and reload the script. And now if I scroll, it scrolls a lot more. Let's continue. Oh wait, my muscle memory just revealed that my default shortcut for apply default audio transition isn't Control-Alt-D, but it's Control-Shift-D. Let's quickly remove that and say Control-Shift-D. Okay, one weird thing is when I try to zoom in, it's not actually zooming into my mouse, but it's zooming into the playhead. DaVinci Resolve, zoom into mouse, not playhead. Yes, in Premiere Pro, it zooms into your mouse cursor and not into the playhead. View, zoom around mouse pointer, okay? I love that you can change this. Okay, one more keyboard shortcut that I'm missing is fit to timeline, zoom to fit, which is Shift Z. Let's do the backslash, which for me is the caps lock key. Save. Now if I hit this, zoom to fit. Yes. Does it work? Yes. Beautiful. Oh, the scrolling is so weird. Increase scrolling speed. I recommend a mouse with middle click. Holding middle click on the timeline and dragging left, right, up, down lets you move around as fast or as slow as you're moving the mouse. No way. Oh my god. Why does Premiere not have this? Wait, this is actually such a great feature. Okay, what does this do? Not what I expected. What does this do? No. If I hold Shift, if I hold Control, it switches to some other tool. This is like one of the tools in Premiere, but I'm looking for the tool that ripple deletes. Surely it's possible. Okay, it's this tool that lets you do this. If you just trim the clip normally, it leaves a gap, but if you hold Control, it trims like this so that it moves everything to the right into its place. And where even is this tool? This might not even be a tool. DaVinci Resolve, Ripple Edit Tool Toggle. How to use ripple editing in Resolve to edit faster. Oh, you have to switch to the trim edit mode and only then it will let you ripple trim. So now if I move this here, everything to the right moves with it as well. And it should also work on the other side as well. Okay. So all I need to do is to not forget to switch to this tool. Can I hold T to temporarily enable it? And then if I release, no. Kind of weird how it does different things depending on where you place your mouse. If I place it in between these two lines, it's this tool. It slides the audio back and forth. And if I place it down here, it's the ripple trim tool, which is suspicious. Wait, so how do I... Oh, I have to grab the edge. But the problem is that I often grab the crossfade instead of the edge of the clip because there's just this little amount of space where it grabs the edge of the clip. And if I move it just slightly over, it grabs the edge of the crossfade. Can I make crossfades appear differently? Display stacked timeline. Oh, this adds tab tabs to your timeline. That's very nice. And if I click down here, it just hits this thing. So I'm assuming it's just easier to trim with keyboard shortcuts and not with the trim tool. And I have to get it super close to the edge for it to work, which leads me to accidentally grab the end of the crossfade. How thick is this playhead? I feel like it sometimes can get in the way of me seeing stuff, like parts of the waveform. Wait, I'm struggling with the scrolling behavior. My muscle memory isn't connecting somehow. Oh, that's right, it's Shift in Premiere, not Control. And here Shift moves these up and down. Okay, so far I edited half of this audio and I've discovered a few annoyances. First one is for the audio transitions, I keep selecting just one side of the clip, and if I apply the transition, it only goes one way. I wish selecting here would select the middle and not the edge of the clip, because I have to get it just right in the center for it to apply for both clips. Another issue is that when the video is playing and I try to scroll, it scrolls a little bit, and if I pause, it scrolls a lot. This is probably something to do with my auto hotkey script not working correctly with DaVinci Resolve, but why would the scroll speed change depending if the video is playing or not? Another annoyance is why do I have to release my mouse in order to ripple delete? If I click X on my keyboard, nothing happens. I have to release my mouse, and only then when I click X, it ripple deletes. That's just a completely unnecessary step. Why can't I pick up the playhead, ripple delete, and then move it somewhere else? I have to release it, then ripple delete, and then pick it up again and move it somewhere else. This little maneuver will waste a lot of time. Another thing that's super weird is when I start playing and pick up the playhead and move it somewhere else and release it, it continues playing. It doesn't stop here. So say I want to cut out this part and move everything to the right into its place. So I'm going to do that, and it teleported the playhead here. However, if the video is playing and the playhead is moving and I do that, it just continues moving from this place. It doesn't go back here. What is that? And I can't see why would this be a good idea. Why would you want it to skip a bunch of stuff and just continue playing from a random place? Maybe I'm just used to Premiere so much. Let's continue. Oh, and when it's moving and I ripple delete, then it stops. So every other time it just continues going, but if I ripple delete, it stops. How does that make sense? Oh, the scrolling speed is so finicky because it changes when it's playing and when it's not playing. And it's always playing because the playhead doesn't stop. No, it's so slow, but now it's fast. Ugh. Oh, I also just keep grabbing this all the time instead of this, but that's definitely coming from Premiere. Having to click T every time I want to ripple trim like this also doesn't make sense. I hope there's a way I can quick toggle this instead of fully switching to this tool, because if I fully switch and do the trim, I have to click one bonus key on my keyboard to switch back to this tool, so it's just less efficient. I keep accidentally pausing it and unpausing it because I'm used to the playhead stopping as soon as I move it somewhere else. Wait, maybe it's a setting I can turn on. Is there any way to stop the playhead when interrupted by the user? Like when playback is happening and I move the playhead to a new location. Exactly. Sure wish this were a feature. Oh, it's not a feature. Having the same issue coming from Premiere. I really wish this was fixed or turned into some toggle option. Yes, exactly. This is going to take so long to unlearn. Oh, wait. Oh, when you move your playhead close to the edge, it actually shifts the timeline position. Okay. What is that? I move one pixel and there are like 17 different tools that spawn in. If I drag this to the right, it actually drags out the clip, so it's underneath this clip. It doesn't remove that clip. What? So I don't have to position them on separate tracks like this. This just lives under that one. Wait, that's actually good. How do I select the end there if I'm on this clip? It just lets me select this one. Do I have to move it away, then trim it back and move it back up? Okay, interesting. Oh, I keep accidentally moving the whole thing like this. When I drag the playhead to the beginning, it just accidentally moves me to a random place in my timeline. DaVinci, turn off moving timeline when playhead gets close to edge. Didn't find it. Not gonna lie, I'm not enjoying my audio cutting experience. Why do the edges keep being selected once I apply a transition? Just deselect them automatically. I really hate having to click elsewhere and only then be able to select the clips under the playhead. Oh, but that's the problem. If I release my mouse, the playhead just continues playing and I have to deselect the corner of the clip and then catch the playhead so it doesn't go off screen. For example, it's playing and I want to add an audio transition here. Now, in order to select this clip, I can't just pick up my playhead. I have to first click somewhere else and then catch the playhead and move it back. This wouldn't be an issue if the playhead stopped automatically, or if once I apply the transition in between two audio clips, it would automatically deselect the edges of this clip. So the reason these features frustrate me is because they make me do extra unnecessary work. It would be way easier if the playhead didn't carry on doing its thing once I do something, or if it wants to continue doing its thing, then automatically deselect the thing that I just changed and also make it consistent so that it always continues. Because now sometimes it continues, and if I do this, it doesn't continue. But if I do this, it continues. Why? All I want is at least a consistently horrible experience so that I know that I'm doing something wrong. Now I have to guess, because sometimes it chooses to continue no matter what I do. I can add cuts, but if I decide to ripple delete, it stops. But if I ripple delete with Q, it doesn't stop. Next order of business is cutting up the video portion. So this is how much voiceover I have, and this is how much video I have. Now the whole goal here is to do nothing else but just cut up the video so that it matches what I'm talking about in the voiceover. Also, I'm just realizing now that I haven't figured out how to maximize a panel. DaVinci Resolve, maximize panel. You can't expand any panel to full screen in Resolve 16 like you can in Premiere Pro. You can expand the viewer to full screen with Command Control F. So Control F should maximize this, okay, but Control F doesn't maximize the timeline. That would definitely be a great feature. Okay, so let's cut up the video portion. Whoa, what's happening? Why is this just sliding? And how do I stop it from sliding? The preview when scrubbing is definitely super laggy. Ooh, what's the Track Select Forward tool in DaVinci Resolve? So the tool that lets me select everything on the right of my mouse cursor. Track Select Forward, DaVinci Resolve. Oh, it's a keyboard shortcut. Alt-Y. Alt-Y will select everything to the right. Also, if you want to increase your playback speed, you can click L once, which plays at 1x speed, but if you hit L one more time, it plays at 2x speed. And if you hit more, it just plays faster and faster. The same with the J key, it goes backwards. Hit it one more time and it will go faster and faster, and the letter K stops. They're also right here on the keyboard, which means that I have to move this hand over there, so I typically remap them to 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here's a moment in the video where I want to freeze this frame for a little longer. So I want this exact frame to stay on the screen for this much longer. Let's see how to do that. Okay, it's under clip and freeze frame. So Shift R, Shift R. Oh, it froze the entire clip, not what I want. Change clip speed, freeze frame over here, and now it only froze this part of the clip, so I can extend it, and it's the same across the whole clip. Okay, or what I could have done is added a cut here, then Shift R to freeze this, and just extend it like this. Much faster, but slightly slower than in Premiere. Okay, I have finished cutting up the video on top of the voiceover. So now what's left is polishing everything up, like zooming in on different parts, adding transitions, text, and different effects to make this video more je ne sais quoi. So let's get going. Okay, so first I want to turn all of these random cut up clips into one single clip. And the way I would do that in Premiere Pro is right click and nest, or of course use a keyboard shortcut. New compound clip. I'm assuming that means nest. Looks promising. Clip 1, create. Yes, now this becomes a single clip. Wait, was there a keyboard shortcut for this? No. Let's set that to keyboard shortcut N. New compound clip. Why is the keyboard shortcut not available? Never mind. New compound clip will be N. Beautiful. So now I can select these, N, enter, and now it's one clip. Here comes another important part. Keyframes. I sure hope they're intuitive. Let's go into Inspector. Ooh, there are a bunch of other tabs. Metadata shows me my video FPS and resolution. Okay. Mixer. Oh, so you can have audio meters. It was just hidden away. Okay, meters. Oh, and these are just audio meters. Okay, so now they're huge instead of tiny. Beautiful. Okay, let's go back to Inspector and let's try to zoom in, for example, on the time of this clip. So I'm going to add a keyframe for zoom and position. Okay, let's move to the right a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames. Then I'm going to add 2 more keyframes and change my zoom amount. And then can I double click to move this? No. Transform, crop, dynamic zoom, open effects overlay, fusion overlay, annotations. Wait, I can do annotations? What? How does this look? So where's the annotation? Oh, it's a marker. So if I move to the marker, it should reveal this. Yes. Oh, so I can just like draw an arrow for myself later. And then when I come back to this marker, I will see this on the screen. Okay. Nevertheless, let's go back to keyframes. So I'm assuming these arrows go between previous and next keyframes. So now we're on the second keyframe and I want to transform this so I can pick it up with my mouse and drag it to wherever I want to zoom in. So let's zoom in into this clock. And now if I play this clip, it should zoom into the clock. Yes. Okay, that's pretty nice. Is there a place where I can see all keyframes? Oh, wait, can I make it bigger? So if I zoom in, I can see two keyframes, one keyframe right here and one right there. It seems like there's just one keyframe for both zoom and position. I'm definitely used to seeing different keyframes. Or is it just one keyframe for transform, for this whole effect group? What if I add a keyframe on cropping, for example? Also, now this changed to cropping, and once I click on transform, nothing happens. If I click on the arrow of the keyframe, also nothing happens. So how do I switch this from cropping to transform? Interesting. Oh, now there's both of them. So it shows me that I have keyframes for transforming this clip and then keyframes for cropping this thing. Ooh, pressing Alt and clicking added another keyframe that I can drag. That's nice. So let's move to this one, select it and do a little crop. Can I crop like this? Can I not crop like this with these controls? Because now I only see this one corner. What if I want to grab the other corner? Do I have to zoom out? But it doesn't even fit. So I can't. Oh, I just had to click on the name and it expanded. Okay, let's crop the left side like this and then the top like this. So now it just crops on the time. Oh, scrolling on your mouse actually zooms in and out of this preview. That's nice. In Premiere, you can only do it with this. That's why I instantly went there. But you can just do it with your mouse. Can I hold spacebar to move it to the left or to the right? No. Okay, so what I have here is the transform controls. By the way, I hate that the timeline keeps randomly just scrolling up. I never want it to scroll up. Anyway, what we have here, it first zooms into the clock and then it crops the clip so that only the clock is visible. Let's actually do this. Whoops, I accidentally did it on another keyframe. What key on the keyboard do I need to hold to temporarily enable snapping? Temporarily enable snapping, DaVinci Resolve. Doesn't seem like there's a toggle. You just have to click this. So I'm going to delete this keyframe and move this one over here. So now this is how it looks like. It will zoom into the time and then it will crop, not perfectly, and then it will crop the time. Beautiful. And again, the timeline scrolled up for whatever reason. Actually, how do I keep scrolling up in the timeline? Shift? Is it Control? Alt? How do I keep scrolling up? Maybe because there are 5 video tracks. What if I remove this track? Maybe I will not scroll accidentally. Okay, so my next mission is to figure out how to move exactly 5 frames to the right from my current playhead position, because I typically zoom in over 5 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's where the other keyframe would go. So now if I zoom in into a part of this clip, it will happen over a duration of 5 frames. So essentially this quick. Pretty quick. So what I want to do is set my zoom and position keyframes, then click my keyboard shortcut, and the playhead should jump forward by 5 frames. So I don't have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every single time I want to zoom in. And I zoom in a lot in my videos. DaVinci Resolve, move playhead forward 5 frames. Shift plus arrow will move the playhead by 1 second. Preferences, user, editing, general settings. Okay, command comma for settings, user, editing, standard generator duration, 5 seconds. Okay, so let's see how much it jumps if I click shift and the right arrow key. 1 second. So I need to find 1 second somewhere. So I can't change how much it moves my playhead when I click shift and right? Why not? Will I have to make an auto hotkey script for this? Don't make me do it. Okay, let's make a script. If the DaVinci window is open, wait, what's the shift symbol in auto hotkey? Shift is plus, so +3, send, plus, and also the right arrow key. Right, plus right, plus right, plus right, plus right, plus right. So if I click shift and 3, it should send shift right, shift right, shift right, shift right, shift right, which would skip 5 frames at a time, hopefully. Also, let's do it the opposite way. If I click shift plus 1, it should send shift and left 5 times. Okay, there's no chance this works first try. Okay, so if I do shift 3. Oh, wait, is it 5 seconds or 5 frames? Oh, it moved 5 seconds. No problem. I just don't need the shift keys here. So it should just move right 5 times. Okay, reload script. Now if I click shift 3, yes, it moved by 5 frames. And the shift 1, it should move back. Yes, beautiful. How would I be able to do this on macOS? I have no idea, but at least it works on Windows because I need this feature. In Premiere, you can set your default skip duration. When I click shift right and shift left. In DaVinci Resolve, it seems to just be 1 second by default, but in Premiere, I can customize customize by how much it skips. That's really useful. So now my goal is to zoom into important parts of this video so that it's more je ne sais quoi. Okay, couple of suspicious things. When I just randomly click on the timeline, it scrolls up. If I scroll back down and click somewhere else again, doesn't scroll up. Disable this, enable this, click somewhere else, it scrolls. Why? Is this a feature or is this a bug? So my solution to this now is to remove all other tracks, so delete empty tracks, and now it doesn't scroll up. One thing that I've just figured out is that you can hold Alt, Shift, and click down here and it adds a keyframe. This is so good. I don't have to go here and click on this little diamond. I can just do it within my timeline by holding Alt and Shift. Now I thought it wasn't possible to do it under the playhead, but actually it is, and there's a keyboard shortcut for that. It's Control and the bracket key, and it added a keyframe under my playhead. This is an absolute killer feature, and it will save me hours of time because I will not have to go here with my mouse and click on these keyframes. I'll just be able to click a keyboard shortcut and it will insert the keyframe under my playhead. I'm so happy this exists. Wait a minute, in DaVinci Resolve there's no feature that lets you add guides? Surely not. I use that feature for every single video. So for example, now say I want to zoom into this sentence, proceed with installation. The way I would typically do it, actually, can I export this as a PNG? Wait, quick export, presentations, DaVinci export PNG. Okay, I need to go into the color page, right click, grab still, right click on this and export desktop. Okay, there it is. Let's open the Premiere project and I'll show you what I mean. So if I import this image here, let's say that I want to zoom into this proceed with installation. What I would typically do is add two guides here so that before the zoom and after the zoom, the viewer's eyes don't have to move to a different part of the screen. So now I would go to my effect controls panel, add two keyframes, and then zoom in exactly on that spot. So this is how it would look like. See, before the zoom in, you were looking here, and after the zoom in, you're still looking here. That's why I need these guides. If I were to do this without any guides, look at what we would end up with. So I guess that I need to zoom in somewhere here. And now if I add the same guides, look at where we end up after the zoom in. So now we're here and boom, it's slightly higher. And it seems like there's no feature like this. There's no feature to add guides in DaVinci Resolve. And that is really surprising. There seems to be a workaround, and I have to go into the effects panel, look for adjustment layer or adjustment clip on top of everything, then make it slightly longer. Then I need to add the grid effect, which is somewhere else. It's so strange that it searches only what's selected and not inside everything. So if I don't know where the effect is, I would have to search each of these. So grid, then I add it onto the adjustment layer. Then I go into effects, make it one row and one column, decrease line spacing, actually 2 rows and 2 columns. So now these are my guides, but in order to move them, can I move them like this? No, make them slightly thinner. But if I want to move them somewhere else, for example, here on the letter P, I have to first have the adjustment layer selected, then go into effect, 2 clicks already. Wait, maybe I can't even move them. Oh, it's pan, so it pans left and right. So every time I want to position this grid somewhere, I would have to mess with these numbers, and I would have to do this every time and move the adjustment layer over all the clips where I want to add this grid. So this is an absolute time sink. It wouldn't be that bad if I could pick it up and drag it, or can I? What if I lock the video? Even if I lock the video, it picks up the video and not the guides. Okay, I know this is just a workaround because there's no feature, but why isn't there this feature? Oh, but I love that you can add keyframes with the keyboard shortcut. It's so good. Hey, also, if you want to learn how to make YouTube videos like me, I put together a completely free resource that will help you apply everything that I've learned over 2.5 years of creating content on YouTube and getting results like this to your channel. This one template will completely transform the way you think about making videos, and you can find it in the link in the description. Moving on. Wait, why is it when I reset the keyframes, it resets a bunch of other keyframes? Why does it make those keyframes disappear? So I just want to add a keyframe here, and here I wanted to zoom out to full screen. So can't I just do this? No, it gets rid of a bunch of other keyframes. So when I want to zoom out to full screen, I have to type in the numbers every time. I can't just hit these arrows. I hope I'm doing something wrong and this is not actually how it's done. Also, a weird thing is when I move this, it doesn't really snap. Oh, when I hold Control and Shift, it's vertical, but if I start moving it horizontal, it's only horizontal snapping. How do I make it so it snaps in the center of the screen? Okay, let's just do 0 position. This is a prime example of when I would need guides. So I want to do a match cut where install yay and this search bar is on the same place on the screen. But I can't possibly know, I have to guess. Or I need to put my finger on the screen to make sure that it's in the same place. So now the search bar and the highlighted text seem to be in the exact same spot on the screen. How does DaVinci not have guides? I've been ignoring this spider web here. I hope I can disable it somehow. Show preview marks. Nope. Doesn't seem to be under view. DaVinci, disable red lines. Maybe they're not that bad. Okay, wait, how do I make it so the keyframes disappear? How do I transform this without keyframes? Do I just click on this? But it resets the position. So do I disable transform? No. Do I disable this keyframe? No, but it resets. And when I move it again, it adds another keyframe. Oh, this disables and enables an effect. Okay, that's nice. So how do I stop keyframes from happening? I know I can add another keyframe so there's no movement in between them, but what if I want to remove keyframes entirely from this clip? Can I not do that once I enable the keyframes? And if not, why not? Also, this is another prime example of where I would need guides. This time somebody is looking here, so the next cut that happens, I want them to also look there, but I'm not sure where there is. So I'd have to hold my finger there on the screen and actually cut like this probably. But now again, I would have to delete this keyframe because I can't remove them, then copy it, paste it here, and add two of the same keyframes so that the screen doesn't move. I probably just don't know how to disable keyframes. Oh, also, dragging right and dragging left is opposite of Premiere. So I keep accidentally dragging left, wanting the screen to move down, but it moves up. This is absolutely trolling my muscle memory. I really like adding and removing keyframes on the timeline instead of over here in a different menu, just like on Premiere. It's really good. Oh no. Okay, one more thing. This is a nested sequence, I mean a compound clip, where there are a bunch of other clips inside of it, but it just acts as one clip. And now I want to change a clip that's nested within this clip. But if I right click and choose open in timeline, the playhead is at the beginning. So I now have to search for where that clip is. When I double click on a nested sequence in Premiere, it actually takes me to this place in the nested sequence. So say that clip was this one, my playhead would immediately be here, not in the beginning. Now I just have to search for this clip manually, and if I nest not 1 minute of footage, but 4 hours of footage, how am I supposed to find a tiny teeny clip among 4 hours of footage? But in Premiere, if I move over a nested sequence and double click on it, it takes me to exactly the same spot. You can even see that the video here and the video here are exactly the same, because it took me to that place in the video. If this happens in DaVinci, I would be put in the beginning, and now I would have to find that clip if I wanted to change something about it. That would mean I would have to go through every single one of these and search for the exact spot. Okay, let's try to add some Gaussian blur here. Gaussian blur, okay, there it is. That was easy. Let's actually keyframe it from 0 to just a little bit like this. And let's actually import some more footage. Okay, let's import it into the media pool. Wait, can I not drag it onto the media pool? Do I have to first select the media pool window and only then it will let me drag it on? Let me drag it onto the media pool, which would select the media pool and then allow me to drag it into the media pool. I know I can drag it on the timeline, but still make it slightly smaller. And now let's actually try to apply an effect on this so that this pop-up nicely appears on the screen. Ooh, there's so many effects to explore. I already saw some cool ones, but what makes a good edit is not the effects you use. Believe it or not, a good video doesn't have to have that checkered background, then what else? A fisheye effect, Gaussian blur on the sides, a little movement, then a random word coming up on the screen with a different frame rate so it looks cool, maybe some glow on the sides, and then it transitions to a bunch of icons with glow. That's pretty accurate. You don't need this to make a good edit. All you want is for the video to make sense. If doing this helps the video and adds value to it, sure, but adding a bunch of effects just for the sake of adding effects, please don't. Wait, the binoculars effect looks really cool actually. Oh, there's a little dot that shows the default value. That's really nice. Okay, I'm sold. Let's explore effects. Vortex. Wait, you can preview effects without applying them on the clip? This is so good. CCTV effect. Wait, these effects are really good. Hello? In Premiere, you would have to sweat to achieve any of these. No, there's a flying flag effect. My monitor's just flying. Hello? These are insane. Video call. Do you have any idea how long it would take to make this in Premiere Pro? It would need a bunch of masking, blend modes. It's just an effect in DaVinci Resolve. There's a paper texture. I can just add a paper effect. Some textured smoke that I can change real time. So let's use an effect to make this appear on the screen. Burn away. Okay, let's burn it away. What is that transition? Oh, you can also tag them as favorites and they appear under favorites. Okay. What if I make my own transition? So I want this to come up from the bottom onto the screen like so. Let's move it down, then wait for the Gaussian blur to appear and set the Y position to 0. So now it should come up like this. That's very slow. Let's decrease the time. Also, can I not see the Gaussian blur keyframes that I have on this clip? Why doesn't it show my Gaussian blur keyframes? I can see that it ends here, but I want to move one keyframe to the left. Why can't I select this now? What happens if I add a keyframe on transform? Can I not see them still? No. So what happened? Okay, I guess I'll just reset it and do it again. Okay. Can I add a shadow? Drop shadow. Yes. Oh, this is a lot easier compared to Premiere. Before, after, before, after. Very nice. And can I add a little bit of Gaussian blur as it's coming up? How do I do that? Lens correction. You have reached a limitation. Unlock DaVinci Resolve Studio. No problem. DaVinci Resolve Movement Blur. Oh, motion blur. I should have known that. There's a motion blur effect. Ooh. DaVinci Resolve Studio. Oh, so it's for the paid version. No problem. We can create it ourselves. Gaussian blur. And as it's coming up, it's super blurry. And once it comes up, it becomes not blurry. Barely noticeable. I also want this to zoom in slightly, and I saw a dynamic zoom. Let's try this. So will it just zoom in? That's kind of a lot of zoom. Can I make it slightly less? No, this is just a default preset. Surely you can customize this in the settings. Surely, right? Let's quickly do this manually so that there's not that much zoom. Just a little bit. This is called the Ken Burns effect, by the way. Subtle movement makes it a little bit more engaging. Anyway. Okay, I have finished doing the video as well. See, now that I have a few more video tracks, when I pick up the playhead, it will zoom up in the timeline. Boop, didn't happen. Now it will do it. So now it's time to export. I can either do quick export, it seems like, but let's do normal export. Tutorial, best. Location, let's do our desktop. Wait, let's actually see any presets. So it's 1440p, YouTube 1440p. Does it change? Yes. Okay. So resolution, custom, frame rate 30, format MP4, target loudness level -1, target loudness -14. Those are the best for YouTube. You can upload directly to YouTube, add to render queue, job 1. Oh, so you can create multiple jobs. Let's just do render and see how long it takes. Should be pretty quick. And yes, it's going very quick. By the way, I didn't see anywhere where I could change my bitrate. So let's do a custom export. Okay, all the settings seem to be here for someone who would want all the settings. So let's see how the video turned out. Not my best work. So how was my DaVinci Resolve experience? Considering that I managed to make a full video like I would normally do in Premiere Pro, and completely for free, mind you, it's really good. I definitely ran into a bunch of issues that annoyed me, mostly because I'm used to something else, and there are a couple features that don't make any sense to me, like the timeline scrolling up randomly, or the playhead continuing on when I move it to another place, but I don't see how you couldn't make an absolutely killer video inside of DaVinci Resolve.